Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Central Pennsylvania Shrimp Tank. It's part of our ongoing series called In the Crosshairs of Corona. I'm your host today, Nathan Imboden, and we started this series as we're in the middle of this coronavirus crisis, particularly here in Central Pennsylvania, where our state has gone through very extreme business shutdown measures, and it's impacting a lot of business owners, especially even the ones that we've had on our show before. So what we are wanting to do is bring back some of those guests, and we may have some who have not been on yet, but ask them, what has this done to your business, and be a voice for the economic impact, the issues entrepreneurs are facing. We say all the time, this is by business owners for business owners, and we're trying to give an education in entrepreneurship, and that is good, bad, and ugly. And we're in one of those challenging times right now. So we want to hear those stories and bring them to you to, again, shed the light of the reality of what entrepreneurship is like. So today, it was one of our earliest guests on the podcast. We have John Petrie of Mother Hubbard's Custom Cabinetry. Are you custom kitchens now?
Yep, custom cabinetry.
Beautiful. I got it right.
In your home.
Awesome. Beautiful. So John's in a unique position because he has been designated as early as a non-essential business, and we'll talk to him a little bit about the waiver process and what that all looked like. We did find out, and as of this recording, John was able to get some good news that construction is able to come back in a couple weeks, so that's a positive step forward. But John's got a good perspective because he's had to deal with some of the hardships of being labeled a non-essential business in Pennsylvania. So John, with that, welcome to the show. Glad to have you back, unfortunately, under these circumstances. But
Nathan, it's nice to see you. I'm happy to be back.
So just talk to us a little bit about what the impact actually has been. Now, we, and those of us who are in Central Pennsylvania, we know the shutdown order essentially happened late afternoon, and it was supposed to be that evening at 8 o'clock. Boom, you're done. It did give a little bit of grace to actually institute that. But what did that mean for you? What did that mean for Mother Hubbard's?
Yeah, sure. I think it was Thursday evening, 8 o'clock on the 22nd that came down that we were to close our doors and cease in our remodeling efforts. We were able to spend that next day trying to tidy up as best we could those projects that we were working on to try to give our clients some semblance of either a usable bathroom or a usable kitchen. Very difficult to do, depending on the stage that we were at in the remodeling process. And in at least two cases, we weren't able to get clients back in a usable kitchen or a usable bathroom. And to date, have still not been able to do that with. So essentially, from the 23rd of March until what we hear today or came out yesterday from the governor's office, that May 8th, we will be able to start construction again. So from the 23rd until the 8th of May, we have not been able to work in clients' homes remodeling kitchens or baths.
So, what impact would that have on your business, the individuals you employ, and you were able to still do, I think we were talking earlier, some design work, which is the all right, rubber meets the road. It's time to actually either show you samples or get in and do the work. But that's not the ball. You're dealing with individuals who have to go into people's homes. So what did it look like for those individuals?
Yeah, so sadly, our installers have been laid off. So they're at home doing whatever they can do, at home. Our designers, myself included, have had the opportunity to work remotely. Two of my designers are in their home offices working remotely with clients on the design phase of their projects, managing the current projects that we're working on. Really, in that regard, just letting our clients that we're currently working with know that, hey, we're still here. We are in a good position financially, albeit that we haven't had any revenue for 7 weeks. But we're in a good position. We're going to weather the storm, and we will be back when we're able to. But we've been able to use tools like you're using, like we're communicating today with Zoom. We're using Microsoft Teams to communicate with prospects and clients, to have design review meetings, to review design projects, share at least digital swatches and digital samples with them. Can't share the real sample per se, but we can share electronic samples with them. And that's been a good tool. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to close 3 different projects during this time period.
Right.
With clients to be able to actually sell the project. There's some questions, because manufacturers in Pennsylvania, cabinet manufacturers, all of them deemed non-essential. Little tidbit that, Pennsylvania is one of the richest cabinet manufacturing states in the United States. Big name manufacturers that are sought after all throughout the United States reside literally right here in South Central Pennsylvania. They're all shut. And all closed. So it has more impact, not just here in Pennsylvania, but in other parts of the country where maybe the challenges aren't as severe. But
so essentially, other parts of the country, they may have opened up construction capabilities, but some of that still may be stalled or delayed anyways because they can't get the cabinets in because the manufacturers are shut down.
That is absolutely correct. Yeah. But we've taken advantage. Advantage in such that, we are processing all of our orders and they're all in. They're sitting there with those manufacturers, even though they can't produce cabinetry. Those orders are in there. They're sitting at the top of their queue, waiting for them to be able to open their doors. And so they all work on a first in, first out basis. And so our clients will be able to benefit from just our being able to be prepared, work from home situation, and be able to transmit orders electronically into our manufacturers so that when this does get turned back on, they're at the top of the list and we'll be able to get them started fairly early.
Great. So what you were saying, there's definitely some troubling and bad news in no revenue for 7 weeks, having to lay people off. But there were some bright spots where you were able to actually continue some business so that when this does open back up, you'll have some stuff that you'll be able to hopefully get back to work pretty quickly. And I think one trend we've been seeing with a lot of people is adapting with technology and using it to kind of maybe shift some of the ways that we've done business in the past to help, in some cases, be a little bit more efficient or whatnot. So that's good. But I know, and we have the privilege of knowing each other personally, and I know you had some challenges, I'll call it, going through the waiver process. I wanted to touch on that a little bit because it's just a weird dynamic. And for a lot of the individuals that are pushing for SB, the Senate Bill 613, which was officially vetoed, but a lot of them that were pushing for that were mainly pushing for clearer guidelines and transparency. And there's been none of that from the beginning with that process. So you went through it. So why don't you talk quickly about what that looked like?
It was as clear as mud. We applied and for our exemption as soon as we heard about the exemption opportunity, and just said, look, we get it. Really, what we want to do is finish the homes that we're working in. And, we laid that out. We don't want to start new projects because our pipeline in that regard is shut down. But we want to be able to finish those projects that we have the material and that our clients don't have a usable kitchen or bath. In many cases, those clients had college students come home from school. So now all of a sudden their family it grew. They know of a family that 2 kids came back from school, so they doubled, from 2 to 4, and they're down to 1 bathroom, and we wanted to just finish that other bathroom to allow them the opportunity to be able to function a little perhaps cleaner, a little bit perhaps healthier than everybody shoving into one bathroom to use it. And we didn't hear anything. We didn't hear anything, only to get a very generic form letter back that didn't even have our own name on it. That actually said the business listed above, which there was none, has not been granted a waiver. So you question, is it legit? Is that real? Or did I just get, somebody else's email? Reached out to my state rep, who's been very helpful. And then actually they sent a letter on my behalf directly to the governor. So, here we are. What are we into this now? 5 weeks?
Yeah.
Maybe 4 or 5 weeks. I got one unofficial, perhaps, letter back that didn't even have my company name on it, and no response to my state rep's letter directly to the governor. So it's frustrating because we hear, as we talk within our industry, of those that have been able to get waivers and those that have not been able to get waivers. And that becomes a frustrating challenge. And none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense as you just sit down and talk about it.
Yeah.
That just adds to the frustration.
Yeah, I think that's been the challenge a lot of people have had with the rolling out of this. While we can debate whether or not the abruptness of that shutdown needed to occur, I'm not here to argue that. I don't know. Unfortunately, what that did was it created an onslaught of challenges that the government wasn't prepared for to tackle all that. I know at one point in time, this was early on, but there were only a couple of people that were on staff that were actually reviewing the waivers, and they had a backlog of 15,000 at one point. I mean, you just do the math. Either they're going to get scrubbed through at an unbelievably quick pace with no rationale, or it's going to take an extremely long time to actually get through them. And unfortunately, that's what we saw. But we did say earlier, some light at the end of the tunnel. May 8th, a good day for the state of Pennsylvania. And I guess technically there's still a chance if we see better numbers coming, there's still a chance that date could get bumped up a little bit. But May 8th is the target date to be able to get back to work, which is definitely a good sign. And that's what I like to try to do on this, is try to end on a bit of a positive note if we can, because there's so much negativity out there and we want to talk about the realities of what people are going through. But I also like to bring some positivity. So that's a positive thing. But I just maybe ask you finally, are there any businesses that you're seeing that are doing anything creative or unique that have been encouraging in this time?
Wow. I think a lot, at least in our industry, as I talk to peers across the industry, from state to state, they're using technology to be able to continue, at least to be able to do what they do. And in my business, obviously, that's design and remodel kitchens and baths. So at least right now, we're able to design and work with clients. The technology has worked well. I attend, probably one webinar a day, learning about new technologies, or maybe not new technologies, but how individuals are using technology that's been there to work with clients. And so, what's been encouraging is that the fact that people are able to and willing to share that information. We're all competitors, but not necessarily geographically.
Yeah.
And so, so we share that data, and what I share and how I'm working here in South Central Pennsylvania may help somebody, in Georgia or Florida or, in Maryland, whatever. And I get the same benefit from them. So, so that's encouraging and fun to be able to learn and watch and see. And we've been able to use some of that. So, Nathan, like I said earlier, we're one day closer, day closer to this being over. Over is going to be maybe a far way from now, but we're one day closer to being able to do business the way that we, in some regards, the way we were, before the shutdown. And we'll just take that as a blessing and hope that the curve stays flattened and continues to reduce.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a lot of positivity. So thank you for that. And again, thanks for coming back and being willing to share your story and what you've been going through with this. And we just appreciate that. Appreciate your time, John.
My pleasure. It's good to see you, Nathan.
You too. Hey, everybody at home, thanks again for tuning in to another episode here. And we're going to continue this series for other entrepreneurs. So I have a feeling we're going to continue doing these for a little while this slowly gets back to a quote, whatever they're saying, a new normal. I hate that phrase, but I'm going to use it because it's being used. But stay tuned so we can keep spreading this message of entrepreneurship, find out about what's really going on here in our community in Central Pennsylvania. We'll see you next week on the Central PA Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond, and the